Hello, this is Erin Grusha. I'm with Burgess & Nightbolt. I'm going to provide a quick update on the complete streets planning that BNN has supporting the KYOVA MPO with. So most recently, we've been working on conducting a gaps analysis to get a sense of where there's currently bike and pedestrian infrastructure across the region, where additional infrastructure is planned, and where the additional gaps are once that additional planned infrastructure is in place. So in order to do that, we had developed a comprehensive, consolidated regional complete streets database that pulled in data from several different individual sources that KYOVA had on hand from different local and regional plans. And we have developed a single layer that shows the existing infrastructure for complete streets that we know of across the region, and another layer that shows the additional planned infrastructure that we are aware of. We also added to that database demographic data, points of interest like libraries, schools, parks, outputs from our crash analysis, safety analysis, and then we worked with KYOVA to develop criteria that are consistent with the Complete Streets policy and the 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan vision and goals. And these criteria will be used to evaluate, review the planned projects and help prioritize them within each state in the region. And the way that we defined existing versus planned is kind of broken out here on this slide. So the existing network included all of the current shared use paths, multi-use trails, bike lanes, and bike routes that are in place. And then the planned projects that we have included in the database were pulled from previous planning efforts like the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, the Transportation Improvement Program, and a number of local and county specific active transportation plans. We took all of this data and really tried to break the different types of existing and planned projects into these four categories: shared use path, multi-use trail, bike lane, and on-street bike route. You can see examples of each of those types of facilities in the images on the right-hand side of the slide. And the reason we did this was just so that we had some consistency in how we evaluated the existing and the planned complete streets network. We used 2020 census data to analyze access to the active transportation network, both the existing network and the planned network. Based on that analysis, we found that thousands of residents within the urbanized areas would have access or be within a half mile of the regional active transportation vision, which includes both the existing and the planned projects. We conducted a similar analysis to look at how the existing and planned complete streets network would enable access to points of interest like schools and parks. And so the chart on this slide shows you the results of that analysis, showing that the regional active transportation vision, which is both those existing and planned projects, would provide access to almost a third of the public schools in the region and over 60% of the parks in the region. This slide highlights a few of the major takeaways from our gaps analysis that was conducted for the active transportation network for the KYOVA region. First, prioritize protected facilities. Protected bike facilities are most likely to be used for transportation purposes as opposed to recreation. New projects should be protected facilities where possible, especially if connecting to recreational assets or schools. 2, focus on connections to key assets. Prioritize links that create a new connection to surrounding assets. This includes connection to and around universities, schools, parks, and commercial districts. 3, complete connections between communities where possible. Coordination is key to continue and maintain facilities on either side of jurisdictional lines. And 4, small improvements matter. So in some of those more rural and low density areas where industrial assets or limited right-of-way create barriers to connections, focus on simple improvements. This could include sidewalk coverage, ADA compliant crossings, wayfinding, signage, and lighting. So now that the gaps analysis is complete, our next step is going to be to complete the project review, evaluation, and prioritization process. We're going to develop some prioritization tiers of the planned active transportation projects within each county of the region. And then we'll compile all this information into a report, and we will also provide a presentation of the final recommendations. And my contact information is provided on this slide. You can feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or want to comment on the ongoing process. Thanks a lot.